Hi, and welcome to another inspiring artist worth studying. Today I'm going to be talking about John Singer Sargent. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. All right, so John Singer Sargent. I don't know anybody who's really into painting portraits of any kind or people in any way that is not has not become obsessed with John Singer Sargent. Now, I have actually seen one artist actually kind of little bit poo-poo John Singer Sargent. I think probably as a reaction to his over popularity. Like everybody just gets obsessed with John Singer Sargent. And once you kind of like start looking at his work and studying it, you're just you just become a total John Singer Sargent raging fan. Once you start looking at John Singer Sargent, you'll understand why people tend to kind of get a little bit crazy when looking at his work. But let's talk about it. I'm only going to be talking about a little bit of his work because there's a lot of it, and I'll leave it up to you to start becoming obsessed. All right, so let's get started with this piece here. So the thing that makes people get kind of bananas over John Singer Sargent is his ability to not only make a very naturalistic, organic looking, almost it feels photogenic, kind of like a photograph, kind of realistic painting, but it's not at all. So there's like this beautiful juxtaposition of this insane naturalism in his work, while keeping it completely and totally in the realm of painting. So that means that it's not clean, it's not beautiful. He's not trying to be a photo. He's not trying to capture he's not trying to hide the fact that he's a painter and he's painting. So as you can see, we've got this, her face is utterly gorgeous. It's beautifully drawn, right? It's beautifully painted. And yet here we have some of the things that make Sargent paintings that amazing, and that is we've got this the shadow shapes here. There's no details in here. It's just a shape here. Right here, there's nothing in here either. It's just a shape, right? Then we've got this really subtle kind of pop here, and then looking in the light, we've got brush strokes, and the brush strokes are just wrapping around and showing you the solidity of the head, so that it wraps around and see these brush strokes come in and out and around through here, and it comes around and across, and that is this. What he's doing, he's painting the rhythms right across the face, right through, and there's like the muscle rhythms that are coming through and around, wrapping around here. And then again, there's a shadow shape. So this here, if you squint, if you squint your eyes, this is just a shadow shape. It's just a shape. It's just a mass of shapes here. Same here with this little eye right here. If you squint, you can see that it's just he grabs here and it goes in, and right in there, boom, boom, boom. He just kind of pulls out these little shapes here. There's a little shape here that comes in, and the darkness of the eye is part of the shadow shape that he's using to break up. He's adding a little bit of gray in here, makes it look blue, but it's gray in here, and then it just and just a little bit of a black there, just to indicate the pupil pop, and there's a little bit of a highlight in there. And then but this is where all the detail is. This is where your eye goes. This is where you focus, and then you look at the rest of the body, and it's really rough. Like he's just like, you could even see the canvas in here. He didn't even And there's like a little bit, a few strokes here and there, and there's canvas showing throughout this, the rest of the painting. He's got very thin layers of paint here. Most of the strokes here are extremely fast, extremely rough, and this is traditionally something that happens a lot with Sargent, is that the intricate, beautiful work happens in the face, and then as the center of interest, as he starts to focus further away from the center of interest, he starts getting more and more rough, and then it gets really, really just painterly and almost abstract, right? Like it's just, and yet you look at it and it just feel, because of the roughness, because of the strokes and the simplicity it feels like a painting. It feels energetic, but it's still very representational. It still feels real. Here we go. Here's another example of almost exactly the same thing. Look how gorgeous this looks. It looks very it looks representational. It almost looks like a photo, except that it's obviously not a photo. It's got so many brush strokes in here. You can see that it's rough and fast, and has choices in it. It's got beautiful, great choices. So once again, as in the previous painting, look at this, how he's just shaping the shadow shapes. It's just, you don't even have to squint this time. There's nothing here. Nothing. It's just dark. It's just like a dark brown. Like this whole entire thing here, all the way around, is really, really deliberate. This was an extremely deliberate choice to create this graphic shadow shape here, and then slowly pop out all the stuff in here into light. So the only thing that he's going to focus on here is what's happening here in this light area, and even the lips. You as the audience are seeing lips, but if you look closely, it's just a brown shape. There is nothing there. There's these strokes over here of the mustache, but this is just a brown shape right here. And then the thing that really makes it feel like lips is this light area shape here, this little bit of pink and red. But even here in this area here, this is even this side of the bottom lip is still kind of part of this brown shape up here. And so like and then we have we have a little bit of light here indicating the outline of the guy, and then we have this the hair comes in. We have a little bit of highlight right here, and then the rest of it just kind of goes into the background. So the rest of his hair just goes right into shadow, and just we lose his head. But the audience, as you, the viewer, we're looking at it and we're adding that edge. We're filling in the hair, even though John Singer Sargent is kind of, it's gone. It's like it's not even there. But we as the viewer are putting it in. Same with the shadows. Anything that we don't see anything in the shadows, but we think we're seeing something in the shadows because we're putting it in. And again, and even the mustache and the beard, just shapes, just really quick brush strokes, in all the right directions, and we see it as hair. And then we've got the rest of this is fairly rough. Like look at this, just kind of quick lines, really rough, not really working any of this stuff out. There is a lot of shadow shapes here that are making these folds work. There is fold work here. He is adding these folds so that it looks correct, but it's mostly shadow shape. You have to really work out these shadow shapes to make the extra lights pop. Gorgeous, gorgeous piece. It's just so good. Another beautiful piece. Oh, man, he's just, anytime I see Sargent, just it kind of blows my mind how good his work is. Look, first of all, let's take a look at her jacket. It's almost completely black. There's only a highlight here and there. We're kind of filling in ourselves most of this stuff. And again, look at the shadow shapes. If we need to squint a little bit more, but really, if we zoom in here, there's nothing in here. This is all completely, almost completely one value, right? It's just in here, even here. He added a little bit of light in here, but for the nostril, but it's actually really just mostly like a shadow shape, just the right kind of, you know, brownish red shadow shape. And then the rest of it is here in the light. We got some pinks in here. We got a little bit of yellows and white in here. We got a little bit of greens in here. It's just, oh, it's so good. And then we have some blue right here. Look at that. So good. But it really looks, it looks like very representational. Look at this hat. Just brush strokes. The hands, again, brush strokes. Really, like the rest of it is really rough compared to how very, very tight this is. And then this guy's face. Look at it's all shadow shapes here. This guy is almost all complete shadow shapes. There's a little bit of light popping in here and there just to kind of indicate that there's a little bit of bounce light coming. Well, some of this light coming in here, but it's all shadow shapes. And then the rest of his body, it's super rough. It's just like it's almost like a preliminary lay-in of shapes, and then he just left it that way. It's so good. And it's got, like I said, it's got a lot of energy and it's got a lot of power, and she just stands out like a sore thumb because of it. Because this guy's so rough, and all of this stuff is so rough that this is where your eye just goes, and you just can't stop looking over here. This gorgeous thing. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Look how rough everything is. Look how completely rough and fast this is, and yet, oh my gosh, how gorgeous this looks. How beautiful is her face. Look at this eye shape here. And yet, and even how fast this hair is here, and all this stuff, like it's just not trying to be super fine, cleaning everything. The fact that it's so painterly while still utterly nailing the beauty and just the right amount of values in here to really pop out her face and the rest of her head. Like this is just the audience, as the viewer just look at it and you're just filling in all of it. You're participating in making this really feel like something, and there's something about it that has so much energy and power when you're looking at it. It's just too good. Like Sargent's just amazing. Okay, so there's a book of his charcoal drawings, and his charcoal drawings are extremely. I didn't even know this book existed, so I'm going to put a link to the book in the description of this video, and then I'm going to have to pick it up myself because I don't own a copy. But the thing about looking at an artist's charcoal paint drawings is that they're not really drawings, they're paintings, which is the reason I almost said charcoal paintings. They are, in essence, the same process of paint. When you're working with charcoal, you're kind of using the charcoal in a painterly way if you're doing it in a certain way. So let me explain what I mean. So here's this amazing charcoal drawing, but it's also very painterly. It's painted very, very much like he would a oil painting. And here's why I say that. I talked about the way that he's using shadow masses on the face in his paintings. Well, notice here is the secret here, right there. Look how these shapes right here. This is the types of shapes that he's doing when he's painting. This here, and then it goes in. See how this eye comes in and it goes in and it makes this shape right here, like that. And it comes in here and it makes this shape here, like this. And then we have this, and that's a shape as well, leaving this kind of light area here. So what he's leaving is this white area. The white area is what he's leaving here, this light area here. Same here with this, where he's just kind of shaping out this shadow area here. There's a mid-tone, secondary light, but if you squint, it's just a shape right here, and he's kind of popping in a little bit of extra dark, but it's generally the same. Same here, where there's just a shadow shape. It's a shadow shape. It's not the lips, it's a shadow shape, and it just and it's shaped in the lip-like way, and then so therefore you as the viewer see it as lips. Look at the hair, the way that he's just massing these shapes here, and there's no detail in here. There's some lines in here to indicate that this is hair, but in general it's just giant masses of charcoal areas. And here, like you could see it right here in this ear. It's just a graphic shadow shape. Like look this is, there is no rest of the ear. It's just this shape here. It's so good. Like that's how he's thinking when he's painting. He's thinking about those graphic mass shadow shapes. And here's another example of the same kind of thinking that goes into this sort of painting. And I specifically chose this one because of this area here. So like look at the way that okay, so first of all, we see this as a hat, even though where does the hat begin? Where does the hat end? Where's the feathers? Where, I mean, look, and then you're seeing it as what it is. It's insane. But look, here's her hair. It's back here by her ear, right? And then there's this shadow shape that comes in and around and through here, and then it picks up this eye, but it's one giant graphic shape here. It goes into the hair, and it's all one shape, one gigantic black shape. The only thing that makes this seem like an eye is that there's this area here is a little bit darker, and then there's this the highlight of the thickness of the eyelid right there. Pow. He either had a kneaded eraser and then just kind of erased right out of there, or he left it there and just really carefully used the charcoal around that area just to leave that area there so that you could get that highlight pop. This eye here, we have this shadow shape here. We have a hard edge right here just to make sure that you're definitely aware that there's an eyelid right there. Pow! And then we have this shadow shape here for the underline, inside the eyelid right there, and then the eye. Then we have this shape here. We have this shadow shape here, which is a much lighter shadow shape, but shadow shape nevertheless. It comes in and out, and it makes a shape here. All of this is a mid-tone shadow shape. And if you squint, it's just all of a piece. It's not. He doesn't break it up. It's all one piece. It's brilliant charcoal. Brilliant charcoal. It's one of those things where you can learn a ton from somebody's painting, the way that they think about painting, by looking at the charcoal studies that they do. Because you use, if you're a good draftsman, if you're a good painter, you're using the charcoal in the same exact way that you would use a brush. The difference only being that you got values, that you're only working in values. You're only working in black and white. So, but otherwise, you're still using the exact same thought process that you would when you are painting. You're still thinking in masses, and you're still thinking in shapes and shadow shapes. And trying to really find how to use the shadow shapes to make things pop and be clear, while still and focusing the eye of the viewer, so that it goes to where you want it to go, and it doesn't go where you don't want it to go. And where you don't want it to go, you just completely, you don't put anything. You just leave it blank. Or in this case, the blank is just the darkness. The darkness, like that's where your eye's not supposed to go, so you don't put anything there. You only put just enough so that the audience knows what it is, and they fill in the rest. There seems to be much more detail than there really is, because and even here, look at. There's lost edges, so you don't know where her head begins and her hair ends, and her hair ends and the head begins, and where the hat ends and where the hat begins. Like all of that is all one giant mash of nothing, but you're filling it in. You see it as hair, head, hat, and then here on this side here, we have this mid-tone, and it comes in, and it also does the same thing. There is a little line here, maybe, or is there? I don't know. I'm seeing a line there, but maybe not. Maybe this is just one mid-tone, and I'm filling in that area myself. It's just we have a little bit. It's lost. Like this edge here of her face is lost, but we as the viewer are putting in that edge. So. He's just brilliant. Like John Singer Sargent's just amazing. Look at this face. Look at this beautiful face. Oh my gosh. So again, one more time, the thing that's really making this work is all this the shapes here, like these beautiful shadow shapes. Now this is all mid-tone, so there's a darker area here, and what I'm thinking. When looking at this is that he started off with a mid-tone, doing this whole mid-tone shadow shape here, like all of that. Just all of this, he's working out all these kind of shadow graphic shapes here. And then once he kind of had all this kind of worked out, even this area here, right? And even here in this area here. Then once he had that worked out, he knew that he had to be soft here, and then he knew that there would be a secondary dark area that he needed to work out. Pop, 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 pop. And then he popped those in there. And then like the rest, he could just kind of leave kind of fast and hard and loose and just be free with it. But at first he needed to just make sure that he had all the graphic shapes of the shadow shapes worked out, and all these graphic shadow shapes aren't willy-nilly or just purely observational, but they are observational. You're looking at what you're looking at, the object, you're looking at the subject, right? But what you're doing is you're also because you've done a lot of anatomy studies, a lot of head plane studies. You understand what planes and what anatomy parts are are there and why the shadows work the way they do on those things. And then once you do that, then you have a full understanding of the shadow shapes and why the shadow shapes exist. And then you do the graphic representation of those shadow shapes, knowing what they represent. And if you look really closely here, once again, he pops out that thickness of the eyelid. Pow. And then that really sells the solidity of that eyeball. It's just utterly gorgeous. This is amazing, amazing work. So again, John Singer Sargent, his work's obviously really, really amazing. He's worth studying, and then you're probably going to become a big fan of his work and drive other people crazy. And but hopefully you'll get a lot out of looking and studying his work. He's an extremely popular person to study for a reason. So I do have a book recommendation. This is a really good one, where you get to look at a lot of his paintings. So pick up books like this, where you get to see his work. This is a really, really good one to look at. And again, the charcoal book is probably going to be just as good. I'm going to have to pick that up myself because I didn't realize that it existed. But I'll have the description of both these books in the description of this video. So I hope you got a lot out of this video, and it got you more interested in John Singer Sargent. If you didn't know, if you were already into him, and if you weren't and you didn't know who he was, hopefully this made you aware of his work. That's it from me. Thanks a lot, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.